hasn't all been plain sailing for the BTRDA Rally Championship. Things didn't get off to the best of starts in 2017. Wintry conditions putting an early end to the opening round in Wales after just one stage. With marshals and safety crews unable to reach their positions, it would unfortunately but sensibly be cancelled on safety grounds. This meant the season would now be fought over 7 rounds, and the point scoring would begin on the Malcolm Wilson Rally in March, a popular pre-season test event for crews of all championships, and that would mean some new faces challenging for victory. But nothing would stop the dominant performance of David Bogey, taking his first victory and indeed the championship's first win of the season. Despite a few people hanging on Bogey's coattails, it will be David Wright taking second place, opening up his season campaign with a good result in the Focus. And a good result as well for Hugh Hunter. Third place would be a good finish and a good first deposit in his campaign after problems prevented him even starting the Cambrian Rally. As the championship moved south for the Somerset Stages, it would be all change at the top. Those who didn't have the best of luck at the Malcolm Wilson turned things around in Minehead. Stephen Petch, one of those, putting mechanical woes behind him to take the first victory of the season for the WD-40 team. It was close though, with Callum Black fighting it out to the finish, and in the end taking second place. After the loss of Luke Francis, it would be a podium place for Conor McCloskey, with third place in that Fiesta WRC. Round 4 of the series headed back to Wales, the Plains Rally, and the results would mirror that of the previous round. Conor McCloskey getting used to that Fiesta now and managing a much easier this time, or so it looked from the outside anyway. Third place finish once again. And the fight for that victory would be reignited here too, between Callum Black and Stephen Petch, fighting it out for the top spot and for those points towards a championship campaign that was looking better and better for this pair. The win eventually going to Petch, but with a better score on the Malcolm Wilson, this would mean Callum Black leads the championship as we cross into the second half of the season. And it was back up north to start off that second half of the season. A challenging day in the north of England, the Carlisle Stages would be wet and extremely slippery, as some of our challengers found out, including reigning BTRDA champion Charlie Payne. Conor McCloskey would also find out the hard way, going off the road in stage 2 and failing to add to that point score at this round. But one person that did add to an already pretty significant score was Callum Black. A strong position coming into this round, and a third place finish in Carlisle would mean a strong position coming out of it too. For Stephen Petch, it wouldn't quite be victory again. A slightly slower start to the day in order to not make any mistakes, and that would mean second place was his result at the end of the event. But it would be a new name at the top. Peter Taylor returning to the championship with his new WRC car and taking his first victory of the season, putting the cat amongst the pigeons for the remaining rounds in 2017. So on to round 6 then, and it would be Stephen Petch leading the way with Callum Black just behind. Peter Taylor looking to be in the mix again, third on the road in Wales this weekend. And Richard Sykes leads a Silver Star cruiserway with last round's Silver Star winner Ashley Davies just behind. 4 stages face the crews this morning, each one just as tricky as the next. Onto the morning stages then, and it would be the lead at the end of the loop for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson. A perfect start, 6.8 seconds the advantage. A small lead, but a lead nonetheless. Confidence brimming. Second place at this stage will belong to this man, Callum Black. Elliot Edmondson alongside. They were trying to close that gap on Petch, and they were doing so a little each stage. A slow start on the first stage of the day had left them on the back foot a little. The lead, though, hadn't always been in the control of Petch. In fact, for the first 3 stages of the day, it would be Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead leading the way here in Wales. But a missing spoiler had upset the handling of the car, and the pair dropped down to third by the end of the morning loop, showing just how important the aero on these WRC cars is. It would be a great start, though, for Sasha Kakad and James Aldridge. They lead the way in the Group N battle. The lead there had been changing hands all morning, but they come away with that number 1 spot at the end of this first loop of stages. It will be a steady but good start to the day for Hugh Hunter and Rob Fagg, looking to get some points on the board at this round. 5th place will be theirs after jumping in and out of that position, and 4th place, a good end to the morning, coming out fighting. Martin and Dawn England were having a good run as well in that Fiesta. They end the morning with 6th place, but have been up as high as 3rd on the opening stage of the day. 2nd place in the Group N battle behind Kakad now were Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. They were getting a little close to the edge on some occasions, as we've seen on all too many occasions, but they were keeping things on the road and still managing to entertain the spectators to take 7th place overall. Third in that class were Richard Hill and Stefan Evans, just 6.2 seconds behind Thompson, and they'd be on a push in the afternoon to try and take that 2nd place. Group N shaping up nicely for a big fight here at round 6. Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams lead the way in the B13 class at this stage. Not as high up the order as they would have wanted to be, of course, but 9th place, a good top 10 position at this stage, still good. And rounding out that top 10 were Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. The pair had been swapping times at the top of the Group N fight, but sadly, they dropped down a little in the 4th stage of the morning. Shining the spotlight on some of the classes just outside the top 10, it will be 2nd in the B13 class for Tony Carinanti and Simon Coates, lying just outside the top 10 in 12th place overall. And for Simon Rogers and Wyn Davies, it will be 3rd place in the class, just behind on the overall leaderboard as well with 13th. Just over a second of a difference. In the Silver Star, it would be the lead for Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor, first on the road, and that's where they would end the morning too. Sadly, their closest challenger, Ashley Davies, not making it out of the morning stages. Mechanical issues, the order of their day in the escort. 2nd place in the Silver Star would in fact be our leading 1400 crew. Dave and Toby Brick putting in some fantastic times to settle into 2nd place overall in Silver Star, leading the way in the 1400s in that rapid green Nova. Another giant killing performance so far, but could they keep it up? Well, they'd have this on their mind at the very least, chased down on both the overall and the 1400 leaderboards by Chris Powell and Jim Lewis in the Sunbeam. The times were about as close as they could have been, just 0.4 of a second between these 1400 crews at this stage. Andy Davison and Tom Murphy were having a good run, clearly pushing on. They end the morning with 4th place in the Silver Star, leading the B11 class with those times as well. For Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh, it will be 2nd place in the B11 class. A good start to Nick's return to the stages. 12 seconds back from Davison, though, after stage 4. And after the bitter disappointment last time out in Carlisle, it will be a good start once again for George Lepley and Alex Kiorani in the escort. The switch to rear-wheel drive clearly suiting George. They end the morning with 6th place. For Steve Hopewell and Clive Jones, it will be 7th. The pair lying 3rd in the B11 class with this result after the opening 4 stages of the event. Meanwhile, Bob Vardy and Keaton Williams were flying, having a good run on the stages today with 8th place overall in the Silver Star, leading the way in the B10 class as well in the Fiesta. And with that performance so far, they'd be just ahead of Barry Jordan and James Grattan-Smith. 2nd place in the B10 class for them, 6.8 seconds back from Vardy, and lying in 9th place overall too. And rounding out the top 10 at this stage were Daniel Beckham and Howard Pridmore. The rear-wheel drive Fiesta mixing with the BTRDA regulars on its first appearance in this championship. A hard-fought day throughout the leaderboard then so far, and in some of the places outside our Silver Star top 10, it will be the historic lead for Steve Ward and Mike Crawford. They end the loop with 12th place overall. Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan bring out a new car for this event. 3rd in the B10 class at this stage and 13th place overall, was showing that they were clearly not afraid to push the car on its debut out of the box. Colin Griffiths and Siobhan Pugh, meanwhile, were surprisingly neat and tidy on their way to 3rd in the B12 class this morning, the BMW pair lying in 14th on our leaderboard as well. Joe Evett and Matt Fowle marked the 3rd of the 1400 runners at this stage, 16th place overall, leading the way in the 1400 C crews as well. There was a bit of attrition to contend with on the stages, though. We'd lose Alistair Curry and Stephen Brown. The pair had been in the lead of the N3 class and the Fiesta Trophy, and indeed close to the top 10 overall. Sadly, though, it would all come to an end with a broken stub axle in stage 4.
I lost the wheel.
So that would mean the lead now in the Fiestas and in the N3 class would belong to this man, Sam Billum. Cameron Fair alongside. They were having some problems though, so they'll have to keep an eye on those times into the afternoon stages, try and keep that pace and of course that reliability record up. Carl Davies and Richard Jones reached the end of this loop with second place in the 1400 C class behind Evatt. The pair also taking fourth in the 1400 results overall with those times. Finlay Retson and Tom Hind had a great debut in the championship last time out, you may remember. And this weekend, it will be no different, so far at least. Second place in the Fiesta Cruise at this stage in the event for the pair. And David Dobson and Ocean Owen would end the morning as second historic crew on the list. Sadly, however, that would come to an end. They retire in service. Frustration after a great morning. So for now, it will be third historic for Jeremy Wells and David Gregory. That, of course, set to change in the afternoon stages as soon as they turn the wheel. Rich Cole and Matthew Nicholas end the morning with fifth place in the 1400s, just taking that position in the final stage of the morning. And after a good result last time out, it will be the lead in the Rally First category, once again for Bart Lang and Sinclair Young. Leading the way there by just 9 seconds, though. The fight was still on into the afternoon. They'd be watching out for this man, Jonathan Pickering, Simon Broom alongside, as always. These two looking to put right their non-finish from the previous round, and in doing so, hunting down Lang for victory today. For Iridian Price and Perida Wyn Davies, it will be third place in the N3 class, taking that place with the loss of Alistair Curry in stage 4. And for David Perkins and Jordan Joins, it will be third place in the Rally First category. They head into the afternoon stages of the event in a chasing but strong position. So at the end of the morning stages, it will be the lead for Stephen Petch, looking to add another win to that season tally so far. Richard Sykes taking the lead in the Silver Star, with Dave Brick chasing him down for Silver Star honours and also the 1400 victory. The afternoon stages then would be a repeat of this morning's, but would surely provide a new challenge for the crews, the second pass over here at round 6 of the BTRDA Rally Championship. On to the afternoon stages then, and a look first at the Silver Star results. And for David Perkins and Jordan Joins, it will be third place in Rally First. Chris Hickman and Alex Stanbury end the event with second place in the Rally First category. The MG pairing ending the rally with 27th overall in the Silver Star too. For Iridian Price and Perida Wyn Davies, it will be third place in the N3 class and of course the ST Trophy with their 23rd place finish. Ed Fossey and Chris Sharp-Simkis end the event with third place in the 1400S class. Fifth in the 1400s overall as well in that new car. Great result. And it will be a good result once again for Bart Lang and Sinclair Young. They hold out to take another victory in the Rally First category. It had been a little harder this time out, but they do come away with victory in the end. Tommy Meadows and Ian Oakey would be thankful of a finish, the last 2 rounds ending with a crash and mechanical failure. This weekend, though, will be much better with second in the class and fourth place in the 1400s overall. Carl Davies and Richard Jones have a good end to the event to take second place in the 1400 C class, enough to get them the final step on that 1400 podium overall. And talking of podiums, it will be another podium finish in the ST Trophy this weekend for Finlay Retson and Tom Hind. Only the second time out in the championship for the pair, and they were already showing good pace and good fighting spirit too. For Tim Bevan and Gareth Parry, it will be third place in the B12 class in that BMW, ending the rally with 15th place overall in the category too. And it would be victory this weekend in the ST Trophy and the N3 class for Sam Billum and Cameron Fair. This victory sealing the championship victory for the pair with 2 rounds still to go.
And opens again. 60. 1 left plus over small crest, 40. 3 right slowing. And hairpin left plus. 4 right plus long. 60 over finish. Small crest long. Into 1 right, 100 to stop. Well done, mate. I'll do this, boy.
Joe Evett and Matt Fowle have a good finish in their class, taking victory in the 1400 C class at the end of the event, as well as second place in the 1400s overall. Steve Ward and Mike Crawford, meanwhile, will be the only surviving historic crew at the end of the day. They take that H2 win then, as well as 12th place overall in the category. We move on to our top 10, and it will be a 10th place finish for Colin Griffiths and Siobhan Pugh. A good, neat and tidy run in the BMW this weekend in Wales. That debut in the new car would go well for Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan. 3rd place in the B10 class this weekend, as well as 9th on the overall leaderboard. And Daniel Beckham and Howard Pridmore make a good first appearance in the championship this season. An 8th place finish in that rear-wheel drive Fiesta. And a bit of variety as well for the spectators, taking 4th place in the B11 class as well. Barry Jordan and James Grattan-Smith in that Avenger manage a 2nd place finish in the B10 class. With that, they take 7th place in the Silver Star, a good result. Steve Hopewell and Clive Jones, meanwhile, have a good run, ending the event with 6th place overall in Silver Star, 3rd in the B11 class as well at the end of the day. Showing some great pace on the stages today would only mean one thing for Bob Vardy and Keaton Williams. It's a class win. Not only that, but they finish well inside the Silver Star top 10 as well. 5th place in Silver Star, here at round 6. It would also be a great end to the event for Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. 2nd place in the B11 class was a good way to make up for some bad luck so far this season. That return to the stages for Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh would go about as well as anyone could have expected, ending the rally with 3rd place in the Silver Star and with that B11 class win. After a great fight earlier in the day, sadly, we would lose Chris Powell and Jim Lewis from the final podium place, the final stage of the event as well being the place for this change. That would mean that Dave and Toby Brick go unchallenged in that 1400 victory, taking a fantastic 2nd place overall in the Silver Star as well. But taking the victory this weekend in the Silver Star will be Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor. After missing out by the smallest of margins last time out, this will be a much welcomed victory.
3 left, 3 right into 3 left, 2 right, 2 right, 80, 6 left, 61 left, 61, 1, 1. 60, 2 right, 60, 6 right plus, continues for 100, flat to finish 150, 6 right over flat crest, 300, 6 right plus, 60, flat crest, finish 80, 6 right plus, 6 right plus, continues for 150, there we go.
Onto the Gold Star, and it will be 3rd place in the B13 class at the end of the event for Pete Smith and Alan Cook in the Subaru. Simon Rogers and Wyn Davies end the event with 2nd place in that class, a few places up on the overall standings in 11th place. Tony Carinanti and Simon Coates, meanwhile, round out our top 10 at the end of the rally, taking the B13 class victory in the process. Unfortunately, Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence were unable to gain any more time back on the Group N fight. They'd have to settle for 4th place in the class, as well as 9th place overall. A good run for Peter Stevenson and Will Rogers moves them up into the top 10 in the afternoon stages. 8th place overall for the pair, 5th in the class. There's frustration though for Richard Hill and Stefan Evans, unable to take any more places in that Group N battle. They settle for 3rd place. Still a good end to the rally though, with 7th on the overall leaderboard. And for the hard-charging Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy, it will be 2nd place in the class. Still pushing hard throughout the afternoon to take that position, as well as 6th place overall. And that meant it would be victory, of course, in the Group N class for Sasha Kakad and James Aldridge. A great start to the event, set them up nicely for that win. Just 5.7 seconds in it by the finish, though. Group N's still a close place to be doing your rallying. Martin and Dawn England have a good result this weekend, taking 4th place overall. A little off the podium places, but holding everyone else at bay, crucially. There would be change in those podium places, though. Callum Black and Elliot Edmondson unable to hold on to that 2nd place, but they do take 3rd. A result good enough to keep them in the lead of the championship after this round. Peter Taylor and Andrew Ruffhead don't quite manage those 2 victories in a row they've been searching for, but it would be close. They were certainly hunting it down. 8.1 seconds would be the difference. Things could have been a different story had they not had their problems earlier on in the day. But that does mean it's victory number 3 for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson. This result putting them in a good position in the championship with 2nd place overall, but looking even stronger with dropped scores taken into account. So here's confirmation then of the results at the end of the rally. That win for Petch puts him in a strong position going into the final 2 rounds. And the battle with those Silver Star and 1400 categories getting more intense round by round. Points from this round then show Callum Black still out in front, but the run of good results would see Stephen Petch looking like a very strong contender for this year's title. Next up, the crews face a short summer break before returning to the stages at the start of September with the Woodpecker Stages based in Ludlow and the season finale by the seaside for the Track Rod Rally Yorkshire. In the meantime, keep an eye on ours and on the Championship's social media for more news, updates and behind-the-scenes exclusive videos from this exciting championship to keep you going through the summer break. Have a great summer. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in September.